Are you tired of defensive conversations with your spouse where one of you shuts down or you just can't stop butting heads? Join me for this episode and I'm going to talk about why these defensive reactions are happening and how you can stop them. Hi, I'm Julia Woods, coach, trainer, and founder of Beautiful Outcome, a coaching company committed to helping couples see and understand each other so you can spend your precious time together, enjoying life and having fun together. I'm excited about today's episode and I want to make sure you stay through the end for a free gift because this free gift is on the very topic of defensiveness and it is going to be a perfect addition to what we're going to talk about here. So let's start by talking about what is defensiveness. It's so common. It seems like it comes out of nowhere, like it's just happening to you. And yet the powerful thing about defensiveness is it's simply a survival instinct protecting you when you feel threatened. It is part of our ancestry of making sure that if a lion is going to come out and attack us, we have the power to quickly respond and react to protect ourselves. The problem is your spouse isn't a lion ready to eat you. They're a human being who is becoming, continually evolving and changing, becoming someone new. Now that's very important to consider as we look at the three keys that are vital in order to avoid defensive conversations. The first one is understanding how your survival system works. Your survival system is set into your subconscious. It's reacting and it's responding without you even thinking before it responds. Now, the key is understanding what your survival system is responding to. It's responding to what you think you know. So what you think you know about who your spouse is, about who the opposite sex is, about how love works for you, about how marriage works for you, all of these beliefs that you have set into your belief system that was set between conception and 2 years old in your life, that understanding is what is driving your survival system to respond automatically. And the more you understand about your survival system and your belief system, the quicker you are going to be able to avoid defensive conversations. Now, that leads us to the second key that is vital to avoiding defensive conversations, and that's responsibility. Responsibility is learning to take responsibility for you. What are those belief systems? If you've been with me long, you've heard me talk about your backyard. Your backyard is your responsibilities. If you remember, it's like you and your spouse are neighbors and you have your backyard, which is your responses, your reactions, your attitudes, your tones, your beliefs, and they have theirs. And in a marriage, it's easiest to look at our spouse and begin to look at what they need to change and how they need to shift their defensive reactions. And while that's true, that's 100% their responsibility, and all you have responsibility for is yours. So as you begin to implement this second key of taking responsibility and learning about what it is that you believe, what is your survival system believing that's causing you to quickly respond and quickly react? The beautiful thing about our beliefs is when we begin to change a belief. Once we change a belief, if you remember, we've talked before, what we believe produces what we think, which produces what we feel, which produces what we do. So if you're over here looking at your defensive response, it's coming from what you believe. Now, as you change your belief, you will automatically think different thoughts, feel different feelings, and do different things. Now, let me help you understand that a little bit more by telling you a quick story. So I grew up in a situation where I really needed to care for myself. I didn't know that I had developed a belief between conception and 2 years old that no one cared for me. Now, that was practically true at that age. However, I didn't know I carried it into my marriage. And so every time my husband did something that was uncaring or seemed uncaring, my defensive reaction was huge because my survival system was protecting me and putting me into survival mode of I'm alone. And yet my heart didn't want to be alone in my marriage. My heart longed to be connected. So once I took responsibility in my backyard and began to look at what I was believing, I realized what was more true than no one cared is my husband can be uncaring, but that doesn't mean he doesn't care. And then that led us to the third conversation or the third key, which is curiosity. Curiosity is vital to avoiding defensive reactions. Curiosity allows us to discover what we don't know. So as I begin to discover what I perceived as my husband being uncaring, when I applied curiosity and asked him, like, what brought you to react that way? And he could help me understand. Now that new understanding brought me to realize I didn't need self-protection in that moment. I just needed to be able to explain where I was coming from and make a request for what I wanted. Defensiveness is a symptom of misunderstanding. The more you understand of each other, the less you will be defensive. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, I have a free gift for you and I am excited to tell you about it. It is turning defensiveness into connection. In that gift for you, I will go much more into detail about how to actually do this in a much more detailed way. The way you can get that free gift is by looking in the description underneath this video, and you'll find the link there for you for your free gift. I would love for you to take a moment and share underneath this video in the comments section one thing that you're taking away from this lesson. If you appreciated what you heard here, would you take a minute, like it, and subscribe? Now, I invite you, if you're watching this alone, sit down, invite your spouse to join you and watch this with you. And together, I invite you to have a conversation about where you might be missing each other in your marriage as you both react so quickly out of defensiveness. Thanks for joining today. Join me next week for the next episode. Hey, hon. What is your least favorite defensive reaction that I have? That's not true, because then you say, I like being in your backyard.